Here at the Marquee, it's all systems go. They are prepping this particular Marquee for the arrival of the various dignitaries and the remains of former Deputy President David Mabuza with the family. Yes, it is indeed those moments where many South Africans have indeed spoken about who David Mabuza was, and they are speaking about how he was a man of very few words. Just like his children said that he did not speak much. He would call them, ask them a few questions, and that would be the end of the discussion. Even politically, political leaders of the African National Congress have expressed how he never spoke much, but when he spoke, his words carried weight. His words spoke about the current epoch and conjuncture where the liberation movement currently finds itself at. Remember the words of Gwede Mantashe, the national chairperson of the African National Congress, in the memorial service that was held in Emelo in the Sibande region of the African National Congress, speaking about the political ties they shared with David Mabuza, having worked together for over a decade when he was Secretary General of the African National Congress. You'd remember that provincial conference of the ANC in 2008, which was a tight contest between Lasi Chiwayo, who was the mayor of Mbombela, and David Mabuza after the departure of Matthews Poza to be Treasurer General of the African National Congress, the departure of the likes of Thabang Makwetla as well. You remember DD Mabuza won by about 6 votes against Lasi Chiwayo in that hotly contested provincial conference of 2008, which also ultimately saw the rupture of the relationship of Matthews Poza, the Treasurer General of the African National Congress, and also David Mabuza, who had come in as the provincial chairperson of the ANC, because at the time Matthews Poza had seemingly chosen a side to back Lasi Chiwayo as the provincial chair of Mpumalanga. He ultimately lost out against David Mabuza, the cat. But you'd also see how David Mabuza, over the 3 consecutive terms he served as the provincial chairperson of the ANC and as the premier, his main historical heritage, particularly and victories as the provincial chair of the ANC, he built the machinery of the African National Congress. His life was purely dedicated to this organization called the ANC. But you move it fast forward to the work that he did in government. The vast majority of infrastructure projects you see within this province of Mpumalanga are of the initiative of the administrations led by David Mabuza. You go to the various farm schools they turned into boarding schools they built through Public Works and the Department of Education within this specific province of Mpumalanga. You go to the road infrastructure that was improved during his tenure, Mfundo and Tulas. It just tells you that this man had an understanding of governance. He knew what the people needed. He gave the people the services that they so much desired. But on the flip side, Tulas and Mfundo, there was a negative side to David Mabuza. His political opponents, his political nemesis, those who saw him as a dictator, those who saw him as having done many wrong things in Mpumalanga, dating back from 2008 when he came in and ultimately when he left the province of Mpumalanga. You'd remember the transition from himself to Refilo Mtwenitipane. You'd remember the addresses he gave to the people of Mpumalanga when he said that ngiyahamba manje nginishiya namandla Ndlovu as your leader in the province. Later on, there would be that feud between him and Mandla Ndlovu, the provincial chairperson of the ANC, acting provincial chair after the departure of David Mabuza, and Violet Siwela, who was the deputy chairperson of Mabuza, who is also late, by the way. Now, so it is a multifaceted and complex history of David Mabuza, the cat. But one thing you can never take away from him was his love for ordinary people of Mpumalanga. When you look at the comments that are coming out from the rank and file of the African National Congress, those who speak about the differences David Mabuza would make in their lives. You look at the home he built for Ray Phiri and his family. You'd remember that clip of Dr. Rolkoza speaking at the funeral of Ray Phiri and how David Mabuza remained in touch with his community, something that the ANC's diagnostic report of the 2017 National Conference of the African National Congress, where David Mabuza tilted the scales in the epoch of the ANC's politics and ultimately chose the side of Cyril Ramaphosa after having nominated unity, that David Mabuza, when it comes to not being aloof within the African National Congress, you could not find him in that particular segment of the diagnostic report of the African National Congress that was delivered by the then Secretary General of the ANC, Gwede Samson Mantashe, who was at the family home now. So these are some of the multifaceted features of the life and politics of David Tabete Mabuza that you've got to contend with when you speak about his political history that is complex, that is got its negatives, its flaws, but also its positives. You look at how he personally, out of the various business people he interacted with, service providers in the Mpumalanga provincial government, assigned various families to them to build homes for them, doing just a thorough research in the past few days. He built over 350 homes for poor, destitute families across Mpumalanga, across Gauteng and other provinces such as Limpopo, such as Gauteng, Free State, KwaZulu-Natal, where he went to campaign. And that just tells you that this was a man who lived for the people, who lived for the African National Congress, who knew how to exercise power for the greater good of the people. But also, some may say, if you read an article by Monty Makanya of late, saying that Didi Mabuza was a man who understood power, how to use power, but power for himself. But I'd go further to say, to use that particular power for the greater good of those who are destitute, those he was able to take to schools, using his own money, and also saying that these particular children must eat the same food, go to the same schools as his own children. But there will also be those who will say there were many wrong things that took place in Mpumalanga, allegations of political killings that took place within this particular province of Mpumalanga, many unanswered questions, many families left wondering what is happening to them within the political space.